with no further ado, let me invite Andrew Altman, if I may, to begin the proceedings with his thoughts, starting in the epicentre of where the Olympics will be held in the Olympic Park. Andy, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Craig. So coming from the United States, having lived in California, being at the epicenter is always a little scary. So I'll settle myself. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Andrew Altman from the Olympic Park Legacy Company. I'm the chief executive, and also here today are the chair of our board, Margaret Ford, sitting quietly in the back, and Dorothy Fennick, who's been a great advisor to us and has organized all of our NIPM and communication activities. So well supported here, so they'll keep me very honest and brief. I think I just want to lay out a couple of thoughts about how the Olympics and sort of major sports venues are the role that they can play in urban regeneration and investment. I mean, essentially, if you think about what the Olympics brings, it's essentially a massive infrastructure investment in an area of the city. And those of you familiar with the Thames Gateway know that the long aspiration and policy goal in terms of accommodating the growth of London has been to move east. I mean, it started with Canary Wharf. It started to move forward in a significant way with the transportation infrastructure at Stratford. It's in Greenwich. You can see the O2 Center. So there has been this movement east. But what was really needed was kind of what's a large catalyst that can really help to, in a way, accelerate regeneration that might otherwise have happened, but happened at a much slower pace and potentially in a more fragmented way. And the Olympics, in a way, is the embodiment of years and years and years of very diligent work on the behalf of government and private investors to say that the future of London is to go east, and centered at Stratford, which is one of the most well-connected transit centers within London and within Europe. It's an obvious opportunity. The challenge was that you had a large amount of industrial land, very fragmented land ownership, probably over 600 different land holdings, and how do you unlock this opportunity? And the Olympics was the great moment when it was won, not only for all that the Olympics does in terms of the identity and sporting and everything that Olympics brings to a country, national pride, but also to undertake what has been this long-held large infrastructure project to unlock the potential of East London to create a major new metropolitan center for the city. So one of the greatest legacies really has been putting together the land, putting together the infrastructure, and creating the amenities, all of which are going to create enormous value and I think fundamentally change the identity and the trajectory of development and fast forward regeneration, literally, I think, by decades. So in short, what is it you'll actually have? So after the games, what are the amenities that we're left with? First of all, you have a site that is close to 500 acres of various ownerships, but about 500 acres of land that is centered on transit. There's been over 500 million pounds of investment to improve that transportation system, links to the docklands, the overground, the tube, everything being sort of positioned well to really reinforce its transit role. And then you have something really, really unique that's being created in an urban setting, that the amenities, the sporting venues, which are a stadium, an aquatic center, a bicycle facility, hockey, tennis, a handball arena, which will be a multi-purpose center, all of these sporting venues, in addition to having what will be one of the largest parks in Europe, on top of sitting on one of the great waterways and canal systems. It's hard to do this without a map. Having a planner talk without a map is a sort of a professional liability. But you sort of imagine what this is like, that you're in this incredible location. And not only is it a great location, because that is where growth has to go as London grows from 7 million toward 8 million people, but you're sitting also with a fantastic amenity. So what the public has put in, essentially, is the creation of value. And you have to look at this, I think, from the perspective not of just one single thing, that's it, one stadium or one aquatic center or a park or a waterway or transit, or the fact that Westfield is building what will be the largest mall in Europe at the site, close to 2 million square feet, drawing from 4 million people within 45 minutes. Put all that together, and that's what creates something truly distinctive. point of which is to be the catalyst for the larger regeneration and to contribute to the larger regeneration of East London and the Thames Gateway. So in a way, this becomes not the sole answer to it, but is one more piece of the puzzle in all the centers and all the kind of efforts that are going on in the Thames Gateway, but can really, right at the center of it, create something that's very unique, that I think can draw the investment, create the identity. If there's something I learned from going to Vancouver 2 weeks ago, was the power of the kind of the Olympic brand and what the Olympics can bring. We'll hear from Barcelona, which completely repositioned their city on the back of the Olympics and now other events. Now they're bidding for the Winter Olympics, which is amazing. So it just shows you the power of this. So I think it both shapes identity, which is important, always important to the creation of the brand in a place. Secondly, it's putting in place really a set of tremendous assets that can be used, I think, to lure and attract the private investment and give it the security to know that this is a very sound place to invest. As you know, in regeneration, one of the things that the best things the public sector often does is to try to create some of those amenities early on, the parks, the open spaces, that aren't just nice things aesthetically, but are really value drivers, and that attracts the private sector. So having put all of that in, with the over £6 billion on the site and more, the public has made that leap. Already we see the private sector, as I said, with Westfield. So I think we're left with a very powerful legacy. And of course, yesterday the announcement by the mayor that one of the most fundamental issues, which was land ownership, and that the company, the Olympic Park Legacy Company, which was set up to bring forward the legacy, will have the control of that land. And that is very, very important signal, I think, to the private sector of the seriousness of the government, of the mayor, and the commitment to making sure that all of this benefit that's being created can be carried forward in a way that gives confidence to the private sector and confidence to our partners that this is very real and that we can create the kind of long-term value that we're set up to do. So I think I'll leave it to that, and then we can have more discussion later.
Great.
Okay, great.
Andy, thank you very much indeed.